stand together with the unwavering conviction that this land shall be secured.
Silencing the guns, securing the nation. Nigeria unveils a 5-year strategic plan.
Pre-trade arrangement could be an opportunity for them to be deliberate about something of value that is generated in that unit of governance.
The biggest economy goes for the biggest share. Nigeria set for African Continental Free Trade Agreement market.
Those who are sitting on the fence don't belong to anywhere.
Race to 2027, former Vice President Atiku admitted into political family. Reggae icon and cultural giant Jimmy Cliff is dead. Bollywood actor Dharmendra departs the stage at 89. Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. On the business news segment, Musa Abubakar will be giving us insight into equities market. Musa, what's the update?
Equities market begins the week in red as market capitalization drops to 91 trillion naira.
All right, many thanks, Musa. And of course, Ayodeji, market day and sport updates, will tell us how busy the sport world is. Ayodeji.
Well, Olajide, Team Nigeria Karatekas are set to arrive in Cairo on a day that Kano Pillars record first win in 8 matches in the Nigeria Premier Football League.
Many thanks, Ayodeji. Remember, you can watch these broadcasts live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now, Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak has received the 38 rescued abductees who were kidnapped in Eruku. Aisha Abubakar Yahya reports.
Abductees were kidnapped at the Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, a border community between Kwara and Kogi states, last Tuesday. For 6 days, the victims remained in the kidnappers' den until their release on Sunday through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led efforts. After regaining freedom, the abductees were immediately moved to the government house clinic in Ilorin for urgent medical care. Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, who received the victims, was grateful for the president's quick intervention, pointing out that total victory will be celebrated when other abductees in Kebbi and Niger states are also rescued.
We thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his hands-on approach to bringing them back home. All the agencies coordinated properly in having this done. You can see that within a short period they were out.
It was unimaginable because when we got there, we really know that it was a dominated area.
They are expected to be reunited with their families after thorough medical examinations. Aisha Abubakar Yahya, NTA News.
The federal government says its recent high-level engagements with top United States officials have strengthened Nigeria's security partnership with Washington and opened new avenues for cooperation. Led by the National Security Advisor, Nuri Badio, the delegation met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the State Department, the National Security Council, and other strategic agencies. In a statement, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, says during the meetings, the Nigerian team firmly refuted allegations of genocide, stressing that those violent attacks affected families across religious and ethnic lines, warning that mischaracterizing the situation risks deepening divisions and distorting realities. Following the engagement, the U.S. government affirmed its readiness to deepen cooperation with Nigeria through enhanced intelligence sharing, expedited processing of defense equipment, and possible provision of excess defense articles to support ongoing counterterrorism operations. Both countries agreed to activate a non-binding cooperation framework and establish a joint working group for coordinated action. Nigeria has intensified the bid to secure permanent seat with veto-wielding authority in the United Nations Secretary Council for Africa, insisting that a comprehensive reform of the global governance system is long overdue. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, made the call during the first plenary session on peace, security, governance and multilateralism at the 7th AU-EU Summit in Luanda, Angola, tasking the European Union with co-creating peace and security initiatives alongside its African partners, anchored on African-led frameworks as a pathway to achieving sustainable stability across the continent. President Tinubu disclosed that over 250,000 Boko Haram-affiliated individuals had surrendered in the early 2025 following the Nigerian government's kinetic and non-kinetic measures. The president stressed that the challenges of armed conflict, illicit weapons, climate pressures, irregular migration and political instability across Africa now demand stronger cooperation. On the security situation, the president called for EU initiative anchored on African-led frameworks and regional ownership to drive positive outcomes. And on irregular migration, the president advised that the issue must be addressed in a manner that acknowledges its deep economic and demographic drivers, as criminalizing mobility has only compounded insecurity across the continent and beyond. He further stressed that Nigeria firmly believes that peace and security initiatives in Africa must be African-led and implemented through legitimate platforms. The Senate, Nigeria must invest in technology and early warning emerging systems to tackle security challenges. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Senate President Godswill Akpabio shared this view while unveiling the 2025-2030 Security Strategic Plan at the National Counterterrorism Center Office of the National Security Advisor.
Nigeria's fight against terrorism is not just a domestic struggle, it is a continental responsibility.
Amen.
The launch of the National Counter-Terrorism Center's 2025-2030 strategic plan, officials emphasized the urgency of a coordinated regional response. The strategic plan charts a 5-year roadmap to transform the NCTC into a regional center of excellence. It outlines new intelligence-driven era, from drone surveillance and regional operational centers to advanced training institutions and simulations facilities for crisis response.
The strategic plan emerges at both a roadmap and a national commitment, building on gains of the National Counterterrorism Strategy, aligning with the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022, and reaffirming our vision of a secure, resilient, and stable Nigeria.
The Senate President Godswill Akpabio affirms Nigeria's resilience remains firm even as terrorists evolve in tactics and technology.
With this strategic plan, we declare to the forces that threaten our peace that Nigeria will not yield, West Africa will not yield. We stand together with the unwavering conviction that this land shall be secured.
The National Counter-Terrorism Center says it is deepening partnership with security agencies, civil society and the private sector to build a modern coordinated counter-terrorism network. The 2025-2030 strategic plan reflects the center's commitment to address national and regional security threats. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And away from security matters, proceedings resumed at the FCT High Court in the 5.5 billion defamation suit filed by 2 DSS operatives against SIRAP, where the organization's witness Kolaole Oluwadare admitted that publications alleging an unlawful invasion of SIRAP's office were based solely on information from a front desk officer. Oluwadare confirmed that during the DSS officer's visit on September 9, 2024, no staff was assaulted, no property damaged and no forceful entry recorded, though he issued statements suggesting otherwise. The claimants Sarah Jan and Gabriel Ogundele insist the visit was a routine friendly engagement with the civil society organization to introduce the service's new leadership. They argue that SIRAP's publications falsely portrayed them as conducting an unauthorized operation, leading to public criticism and reputational damage both locally and internationally. They are seeking an apology, 5 billion naira in damages and additional costs. Justice Halilu Yusuf adjourned the matter to February 19, 2026 for adoption of final written addresses after the witnesses formally adopted his statement on oath. Now, small businesses in Nigeria will have trade links with an estimated 1.3 billion people across Africa with few barriers and bigger opportunities. This is the promise of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AfCFTA, during a two-day summit in Abuja convened by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Maria Ado-Zakari reports.
Intra-African trade is the gateway to African economic prosperity, with value addition at the center. Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa, is championing major activities for the realization of the AfCFTA agenda. Nigeria's Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment at the forefront of this assignment. Here is another gathering, P3 Summit, that's private, public, and press. Intersectoral engagement, unpacking the gains in the regional trade agreement.
Our knowledge in this sector will boost whatever it is the drivers of this process intend to achieve.
The regulatory architecture for investment with the continental framework such that we attract and retain qualitative investment for sustainable development.
We realize that there's been a lot of focus on foreign direct investment, FDI, which is good and we support it. But we realize that as Africans, we've actually been ignoring investment from our own.
The pre-trade arrangement could be an opportunity for them to be deliberate about something of value that is generated in that unit of governance.
Let us recommit to building an Africa where businesses thrive.
Diversifying its export base is the Nigeria agenda. For many infant industries, major manufacturers and exporters, the AfCFTA represent access to millions of new customers across the continent. But only if the right systems and structures are put in place. Maria Ado-Zakari, NTA News.
And joining me in the studio is the go-getter Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, to throw more light on the gains of the AfCFTA Summit in Abuja. You're welcome to the Network News.
Pleasure to be here. Good evening.
All right, so can you shed more light on the two tools you just launched towards further consolidation of RHE AfCFTA in Nigeria?
So this morning, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment released the inaugural version of the Nigeria Trade Intelligence Report. Now, this report is an empirical study, basically in simplified language. It tracks all that happened in the Nigerian economy in 2024 and how it has reflected on the economy in 2025. We also released Trade Insights Report, which is a half-year report of what happened in H1, the first half of 2025. Now, taken together, this is an 18-month snapshot of the Nigerian economy, from our trade relations, from our bilateral relations, to what happened with tariff headwinds across the world and how it affected the Nigerian economy, to how the diversification architecture has been paying off in our economy, all the reforms that have been undertaken by the Renewed Hope agenda. And so it's really beginning to show the inflection point that we knew 2025 would be, and data doesn't lie, the empiricals don't lie, and that's why the ministry decided to release these two reports today.
All right, talking about base diversification in the export sector, how well has your ministry done as towards that regards?
Well, it's really Nigeria. We must commend, first of all, the administration for the diversification reforms that have been put in place right from May 2023, and the Nigerian entrepreneurs, the whole ecosystem of Nigerian MSMEs and larger businesses. Our non-oil exports this year alone improved by 14% year on year. And the big shocker, although oil exports were still about 58%, the big shocker was a growth of 116% in non-oil exports, particularly led by manufacturing and agriculture.
All right, Doctor, your ministry has done so much in giving expression to the agreement, but one of the challenges to the successful implementation of it has been a sort of protectionism by participating countries and also low-level intra-African trade. How is that being addressed?
Well, this is exactly the work that with the Renewed Hope agenda, by staying responsive and not reacting to the global headwinds. The administration took time to put a structure in place. Item number 7 of that agenda speaks to the diversification of Nigerian economy through non-oil exports. So you've seen the prioritization that we've put on certain commodities, on agribusiness, on manufacturing. We have a trade intelligence tool on Southern and Eastern Africa, 13 countries there. We launched our air cargo corridor in partnership with Uganda Air. And so the practical steps that we've put in place, not to mention all the work we've done on the AfCFTA, bringing that agreement to life this year, has begun to deliver the results, and it's showing in the economic statistics.
All right, so talking about air cargo corridor that you just mentioned now, that was launched earlier in the year. This is closer home for us. And why the renewed interest in the media?
Well, we've always felt that the media was an important stakeholder. All the years I've been in Abuja since 2015, the media has been a critical stakeholder throughout the PEBEC journey and now as Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Now, why bring the media as a pillar in this summit in particular? We speak to public sector, what institutions, MDAs need to be doing to actualize the AfCFTA, talking with private sector, NASIMA and other organized private sector on what the private sector needs to do to really get the benefits of AfCFTA. And the third and critical pillar in that discussion is the media. When the press disseminate the information to Nigerians, everybody across the entire country would know the information. And the idea is to simplify the AfCFTA so that it's accessible to Nigerian people. That's really the objective.
All right, another achievement in that direction is that the African Union has recognized Nigeria as a digital trade champion. What does this portend for tech-savvy youth in the country, and what incentives do they stand to gain?
So in February this year, Nigeria was designated co-champion of the Digital Trade Protocol. This was on the back of Mr. President receiving a personal commendation at the AU Summit of Heads of States and Government. Nigeria also is the first country to approve the ratification of the Digital Trade Protocol. That was a FEC approval that we got 3 weeks ago. Now, what this means is that the Digital Trade Protocol of the AfCFTA agreement is one of the first, it is the first in the world to deliver this kind of structure, this kind of depth and sophistication. Another FEC approval that we got at that same meeting was the approval of our IP policy and then our export of services, the NATEP program. So taken together, this bouquet of approvals that the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment got at the last FEC meeting delivers the practical, robust regulatory framework and legal framework for MSMEs, for startups to actualize to scale their businesses, to export their services. Services are already over 50% of Nigerian GDP and growing really fast. We're competitive in this space. Over 50% of the unicorns in Africa, that's companies that gross over $1 billion, that are valued at over $1 billion, are of Nigerian extraction. So Mr. President has said that this is where our youth are competitive. So every regulatory and legal enablement that they need, including digital public infrastructure, such as the single window intervention for trade facilitation, we're using, in a nutshell, technology to enable our economy. There are 3 types of interventions. There are businesses that are technology-led businesses. There are businesses that are enabled by technology, and then regular businesses that have automation and technology in their services bouquet.
Okay, just before I let you go, Doctor, you mentioned NATEP now, which actually caught my attention, which is the scale-up program for artisans. How far so far?
So NATEP is actually the Nigeria Export of Skills intervention. So the NATEP is the coordinator for the federal government and for the Nigerian economy. We launched a skills accelerator with the World Economic Forum just about 2 weeks ago in Lagos. And what we do here is to make sure that as different interventions across government and private sector speak to sort of outsourcing of businesses, BPOs, and all that, we create a united policy space, a coordinated policy space that Nigerian economy is able to leverage investment from global investors and African investors and domestic investors as well. So it's a framework that tidies up the regulatory and legislative space for export of services globally.
All right, many thanks, the go-getter Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who is also proudly representing Nigeria in her green attire. Talking about Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, for your insights on the Network News.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return.
Beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality.
Thanks for being there. Now, talking Home Matters, Nigeria is set for an improved local drug production, reduced import dependence, and a more resilient national pharmaceutical supply chain. This good news is as a result of the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, PIVAC, Brazil's largest pharmaceutical group, EMS SA, and Oaks Medical Limited.
And the goal is really to produce high-quality WHO GMP certified medical drugs and consumables in Nigeria here with global standards, working with big partners.
We have a really ambitious plan to be here to attend the needs of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian population. So
we had 120 when we started 2 years ago. Now there are almost 200 local pharmaceutical manufacturers in Nigeria. And we expect more because I'm sure Brazil has thousands perhaps. So we want to create a competitive environment where the local industry thrives. I was very pleased to hear that at least 1,200 skilled jobs can be provided.
The Coordinated Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, says the signing follows President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to Brazil and advances the discussions held with President Lula on strengthening collaboration in pharmaceuticals. And talking education, Nigeria's push to complete its long-delayed National Library project received a major boost as the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, paid an official visit to the Qatar National Library while attending the Wise Education Summit. The minister disclosed that significant progress has been recorded in recent months following a fundraising campaign launched by the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, which has garnered over 25 billion naira from individuals, corporate bodies, among others. He adds that additional financing approved by President Bola Tinubu has enabled contractors and consultants to return to site, marking a critical step towards completing the landmark facility. During the visit, Dr. Alausa described the Qatar National Library as a global model of innovation, digital excellence and heritage preservation standard Nigeria hopes to mirror. He announced that a memorandum of understanding with QNL has been finalized to support technical collaboration, capacity building, digital services and architectural modernization. The Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors is setting strategic priorities to correct observed anomalies in Nigeria's infrastructural development. This is during its 2025 biennial conference to deliberate on critical issues for greater professional achievement in the years ahead. Tokpe Alabi reports.
It's been years of renewed commitment and shared goals by the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, founded in 1969 by a group of UK-trained Nigerians. The Institute's 31st biennial conference and the call to rebuild Nigeria resonates with the theme, Rebuilding Nigeria, Enhancing National Development through Fiscal Reforms, Infrastructure Planning, and the New Governance Imperative.
The last leg that we need to connect is how those reforms translate into the lives of average Nigerians, and that's the work that we all need to do.
We are navigating a period of economic transition where fiscal reforms are accelerating, infrastructure needs are also rising, and the Nigerians expect stronger transparency and better value for public funds.
Rebuilding Nigeria is not just a policy agenda, it is a moral duty. It requires collaboration, bold thinking, and unwavering integrity.
And to drive the new narratives, the Institute inaugurated its 28th President, Dr. Aminu Muhammad Bashir, along with Bamidele Mafimidiwo as deputy, among others.
We must enrich our capacities in new subject areas and sector-specific highways, in areas of mechanical, electrical, HVAC systems, railways, marine and coastal works.
Using this conference to call on government, come back, we want to work with you. We want to help you achieve your lofty objectives of rebuilding Nigeria.
We want to get optimum costs, reduce costs of construction.
As this 2025 conference ends, creating businesses that prioritize people's welfare over profit is important to exploring cooperative entrepreneurship and shaping Nigeria's rebuilding agenda. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Now let's take another break. The news continues in a moment. Many thanks for being there. And to the oil and gas sector. NNPC Limited has announced its financial performance for the full year ended 2024, reporting a profit after tax of 5.4 trillion naira and revenue of 45.1 trillion. While briefing journalists in Abuja, Group Chief Executive Officer Bayo Ojulari pledged strategic investments to sustain growth into the next decade. Benny Adams reports.
The achievement is attributed to a year of strong operational delivery. Building on its performance, the company unveiled its strategic roadmap to drive sustained growth and support Nigeria's energy transition through 2030. The plan prioritizes increased oil and gas production and outlines a $60 billion investment pipeline across the energy value chain.
This outcome was propelled by several critical drivers: enhancing operational efficiency across all our businesses, the positive impact on our downstream market reforms, and our unveiling commitment to cost discipline. Financially, we have never been stronger or better positioned for tomorrow.
The 2024 financials highlight NNPCL's strengthened financial resilience and enhanced operational efficiency, with a revenue of 45.1 trillion, which is 88% year-on-year growth, in addition to profit after tax of 5.4 trillion, which translates to 64% year-on-year growth, and earnings per share of 27 naira 7 kobo, which is 64% year-on-year growth.
The fundamentals and the ambitions we have is to focus on operational excellence, technical excellence, and more investments.
Key strategic targets include increasing crude oil production to 2 million barrels per day by 2027 and 3 million barrels per day by 2030. Growing natural gas production to 10 billion cubic feet per day by 2027 and 12 billion cubic feet per day by 2030. The company is also set on completing major gas infrastructure projects such as the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano AKK Escravos-Lagos pipeline system, pipelines to strengthen domestic supply and regional integration, simultaneously mobilizing $60 billion in investments across the upstream, midstream and downstream sectors by 2030. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And from Benny, let's head straight to Musa Abaka on the business news segment. Musa?
Nigeria has reached a significant trade milestone with the official recognition of the Nigeria National Accreditation System, NINAS, as a signatory to the African Accreditation Corporation. Mutual recognition arrangements. This achievement is
sorry about that. It's like we're having some audio challenges there with Musa, but I'm sure we'll fix it and get back to him. Now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has picked the membership card of African Democratic Congress, ADC. Registration confirms Atiku as a card-carrying member of the ADC, bringing an end to speculations and controversies surrounding his political affiliation. He formally joined his new party in his Jada local government area of Adamawa State.
I believe we are in a legally, constitutionally recognized, political platform. No doubt about that. Those who are sitting on the fence don't belong to anywhere. But I believe those who are committed to true democracy will definitely give it to the ADC.
Vice President was accompanied by the APC governorship candidate of Adamawa State in 2023 elections, Senator Aishatu Dahiru, and other top party loyalists. Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has rounded off a 9-month citizen engagement tour of the 27 local government areas. Muhammad Musa Askira reports from Yankwashi, where infrastructure and healthcare projects were inaugurated, signaling a strong message of service accountability and development.
The Jigawa State Government's Citizens Engagement Initiative, which began on the 9th of February, has formally come to a close in Yankwashi local government area, the 27th and final stop in the statewide program. At the grand finale, Governor Umar Namadi inaugurated a 13.5-kilometer Magina to Friji feeder road project awarded at the cost of 1.69 billion naira. Also commissioned was a fully equipped primary healthcare facility designed to enhance access to quality medical services for rural residents. The governor, received and accompanied by large enthusiastic crowds, addressed the final engagement meeting with the people of Yankwashi, highlighting the achievements recorded by his administration over the past 2 years, emphasizing that the Citizens Engagement Tour has helped reshape the perception of governance as a true service to the people. He expressed appreciation to all stakeholders whose contributions ensured the success of the 9-month exercise.
People had the opportunity to express themselves to the government, what the government is doing them, their own perception of the government. We have seen that people have come out in mass to tell us where we are wrong, to tell us where we are right. And we are happy that we have seen this from our people. And we are able also to accept, to collect from them what they expect government to do to them, either at the state or at the federal level.
And rounded off with a special prayers for the security and peace of Niger, Kebbi, Zamfara and Borno states and the entire country in duty. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Another break beckons. More reports when we return. Glad to know you're still there. Now let's head back straight to Musa for business news. Musa.
Thank you, Olajide. Nigeria has reached a significant trade milestone with the official recognition of the Nigerian National Accreditation System, NINAS, as a signatory to the African Accreditation Corporation Mutual Recognition Arrangement, MRA. This achievement is being celebrated by the National Quality Council in collaboration with the UK-Nigeria Standards Partnership Program. Key partners including the UK-Nigeria Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership, the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, the Department for Business and Trade, and the British Standards Institution. Have provided strategic guidance and technical support to strengthen Nigeria's quality infrastructure. With this recognition, NINA's accredited assessments are now accepted across Africa and globally through the frameworks of the International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation and the International Accreditation Forum. This landmark development removes technical barriers to trade, unlocking new market access for Nigerian businesses.
Countries put together.
Instead of going to Norway, Holland and other places to get your lab accredited, you do it in Nigeria.
Imports from Nigeria grew to 2.3 billion, driven by strong demand for commodities. But we want more.
This achievement will reduce technical barriers to trade, enhance investor confidence, and unlock opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The federal government should see this achievement as strategic breakthrough for Nigeria's economic development, global competitiveness, and regional economy.
To capital market, the Nigerian exchange ended today's trading session in the red as profit-taking and cautious investor sentiment weigh on market. The all-share index dipped to 143,614.61 points, signaling a negative close for the day. Despite the downturn, market activity remained strong, with investors trading 694.77 million shares in 24,041 deals, valued at 28.67 billion naira. The equity market capitalization also slipped, closing at 91.35 trillion naira, reflecting the overall bearish mood in the market. E-Transact International led the gainers with 9.06% share price appreciation, closing at 14 naira 45 kobo per share, followed by International Energy Insurance, McNichols and CNI Leasing. On the losing side, NPF Microfinance Bank came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 7.85% at 2 naira 70 kobo per share, followed by Prestige Insurance Company, Sterling Bank, and Wapik Insurance. Well, that's business news. The news continues with Olajide.
Many thanks, Musa. And away from business, barely 1 month after ordering the release and compensation of one Abuja-based businesswoman, Mrs. Chineze Ozwadibe, the Director General of State Security Service, Oluwatosin Adeolaja, has ordered the release of one Kenneth Okechukwu Nwafo, arrested in July 2022 for his alleged involvement in the activities of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB. The DG also awarded Nwafo, who hails from Isiukwato local government area of Abia State, 5 million naira compensation for the wrongful arrest and free Medicare. Credible security sources revealed that detailed investigation conducted by personnel of the service exonerated Nwafo. The source noted that the release and compensation are in line with the Director General's directive that all cases inherited be reviewed to ensure due process and prompt dispensation of justice. Now over to Ayodeji, Market Day for Sport Update. Ayodeji.
All right, thanks so much, Olajide. Well, let's begin from the world of football, where goals from Rabiu Ali and Olakunle Akala secured a 2-1 victory for Kano Pillars, while Joseph Arumala scored for the visitors earlier today in one of two matchday 14 pairings in the Nigeria Premier Football League on Monday. It marked Seme Sugida's first win in 8 matches. Meanwhile, Uche Collins scored twice for Katsina United in their 3-2 win over Eyimba International of Aba at Kwara Township Stadium in Ilorin. Let's move on from football, where 5 karatecas and 2 officials are set to arrive Cairo, Egypt, and participate in the World Senior Individual Karate Championships from November 27 to 30. It is the first time the World Championship is held separately from the team events. A total of 384 athletes from 88 countries will compete, highlighting the growing influence of karate and attraction of the sport to more on the African continent. And to a rather unusual sport, but which is gaining momentum, let's tell you that Nigeria has made history as the first African nation to participate in the 2 women bobsleigh events at the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation World Cup. This historic moment occurred when Nigeria's skilled team, Simidele Adiagbo and Kewe King, competed on the ice in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy, a renowned venue famous for hosting elite winter sports competitions. For the very first time in a long-standing tradition of the World Cup, Africa was represented in the 2 women bobsleigh events. The Nigerian pair secured 25th place with a total of 40 points, while the competition was won by Germany's Olympic and world champion Laura Nolt. That's your sports, but before we go, let's tell you that currently Manchester United are a goal down to Everton on Monday Night Football in the English Premier League. Let's get back to Olajide Bello.
Many thanks, Ayodeji Makinde, for that update. Now, Kogi State government wants immediate family of the late former governor, Prince Abubakar Audu, to uphold and advance its political and developmental legacies as part of his efforts to immortalize him. This appeal was made during the 10th year memorial prayer held in honor of the political icon at his country home in Ogbonicha of the local government area of Kogi State. Solomon Ayedenyi reports.
The Ogbonicha country home of the former governor of Kogi State, late Abubakar Audu, again came alive as dignitaries from far and near converged on his residence to offer prayers for the repose of his soul, marking his 10 years memorial, with the Minister of Steel Development, Shuaibu Abubakar Audu, as a rallying point. The event was organized by the Kogi State government in collaboration with his immediate family. Chairman of Kogi State Council of Ulama, Sheikh Salman Adam, led other Islamic clerics in the prayers.
Recently, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Defense to set up a military industrial complex as well as produce military hardware in Ajokuta Steel Complex.
His name continues to inspire respect, admiration, and love across Kogi State and beyond.
He was prepared for the job of governorship in Kogi State, and you can testify to that with what happened during his first tenure.
They show care for his people. It could have been difficult for everyone to gather here today.
High point at the event was the prayer session at the late Abubakar Audu's permanent resting place. The former governor of Kogi State, Abubakar Audu, died on the 22nd of November 2015 at the age of 68. Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Cliff, the legendary musician who expanded the popularity of reggae around the world, has died at the age of 81. The reggae legend is one of just a handful of musicians alongside Bob Marley and others to be awarded the Jamaican Order of Merit. Meanwhile, the Bollywood actor Dharmendra has passed on in Mumbai at the age of 89. It was reported that he had been in and out of South Mumbai's Breach Candy Hospital for several days. Dharmendra, popularly known for his memorable performances in the films such as Ayi Milanki, Bella Raja, Johnny, Jungu, Gaya, among others, was a great entertainer. And that's it on the Network News. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification, but good social